"15 years ago today, we were first introduced to Shantae. The game launched on June 2nd, 2002 for the Game Boy Color in North America. While WayForward Technologies was formed in 1990 and had worked on several games in that decade's time, they were all license-based properties or ports. Their first game, Mickey's Ultimate Challenge, launched for the Super Nintendo, Game Boy, Sega Genesis, Sega Master System, and Sega Game Gear in 1994. It's basically a puzzle game, not very good. After that, they were pretty dormant. They resurfaced in the new millennium and released 7 games between 2000 and 2001. Those games include Extreme Sports, Bear in the Big Blue House, Bear's Sons of Adventure, Sabrina the Animated Series, Zapped, Sabrina the Animated Series, Spooked, Pearl Harbor, Defend the Fleet, Wendy, Every Which Way, and WWF Betrayal. Now that may seem like a lot of garbage, but some of those are actually pretty good. I won't get into that now, as that venture seems more worthy for a WayForward retrospective. For now, I do want to call out the models for Sabrina, Wendy, and Goopy from Extreme Sports. You can clearly see a lot of inspiration from Shantae's movements from these 3 characters, especially Goopy, who is kind of ridiculously sexualized in her Game Boy Color game. I will point out she is 18 at least. That's less creepy, I guess. Just look at her, the way her hips move, the way her boobs actually bounce when you walk forward towards the camera. It's a little jarring, I guess. But like I said, you can definitely see a lot of inspiration for the character of Shantae in those games. But history lesson on that aside, or sexy lesson aside, let's get back to Shantae. So, being that it launched in 2002, a year prior to Nintendo discontinuing the system, the game was produced in low quantities and is thus pretty rare. It's also worth mentioning that the Game Boy Advance launched in 2001, which didn't help its cause either. This is a shame, seeing as Shantae is one of the Game Boy Color's best, which is astounding considering it was WayForward's first effort in creating something original. For those unaware, Shantae is about a half-genie of the same name who is the protector of Scuttletown. When the town is ransacked by pirates led by Risky Boots, Shantae takes off on an adventure to thwart evil in its tracks. It, and the games that follow, are all Metroidvanias to some degree. Shantae's main attack is her hair. Gems from defeated enemies let players upgrade Shantae's stats along with buying various potions and offensive items. She also gains magical powers throughout new dungeons that transform her into animals. Her monkey form, for example, can climb on walls. It's a bit different than typical Metroidvanias though, in that most areas are divided up into levels instead of taking place in one giant hub dungeon. This is great in that it gives the games more flavor though, but the backtracking is a bit more painful because of it. Plus, all 4 games retread a lot of the same ground, literally and figuratively. Speaking of those other games, I should mention that the second game, Shantae Risky's Revenge, released at the end of the DS's life cycle in 2010. It was actually a DSware game, digital only, for that DSi system, so there was a trend in that they wanted to release their games at the end of a life cycle. So again, that game didn't get that much love, but it's been supported through hell. You can pretty much play it anywhere. The same goes for the third game, Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, which first saw the light of day on the 3DS in 2014. And then last year we just had the newest game, Shantae Half-Genie Hero, released for the PC, PS4, Vita, Wii U, and Xbox One. Now, what game do I recommend? I say all of them, but if I really had to choose, I would say the third one, Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. And of those versions, I would say maybe the PS4 version, since it really crisps up those pixels, but the original 3DS version makes those pixels pop in 3D, so that also looks pretty nice as well. Either way, pick one, play one, and have a great time. I know you'll love it. And that's pretty much Shantae in a nutshell. So, with one final blast, I want to say a very happy 15th anniversary to Shantae, and of course, WayForward Technologies for creating a very awesome female character. Did you know that was a ReActionExaminer video? If you liked it, you should subscribe to me to keep up with everything that I'm doing. Also, if you have some other interests, like sex for example, check out Tum Ups, which is a comedy sex podcast thing wherein my best friend and I check out the weird and abnormal and the erotic. And of course, you should support me on Patreon because, hey, I want to make the channel better and I want your help to do so. Plus, if you want to check out my writing, check out Game Jerk, where I have archives and new stuff for all projects, okay? You can find all the stuff and more in the description with the links below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.